Hello and welcome to this episode of Class is in Session. I'm your host, Ashley Stevens, and this show on Black Enterprise highlights the latest happenings inside HBCU classrooms, public policy issues facing these historic institutions, the business side of HBCU sports, and we also shine a light on HBCU leaders, students, alum, and supporters who are doing major things in business and the arts. Excited to have today's special guest. April Kelly-Drummond is an HBCU supporter who has dedicated her entire 30-year career promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives at Denny's, Inc. As Vice President, Chief Inclusion and Community Engagement Officer for Denny's, Inc., April Kelly-Drummond joins us to discuss the Denny's Orange Blossom Classic, millions in scholarship support, and all the investments that her corporation is making in education, hunger relief, business diversity, and much, much more. Hello and welcome to April Kelly-Drummond.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Glad to have caught you right on time as you were literally about to head down to Miami for the Orange Blossom Classic. We know it's an exciting lineup of things happening, not just the football game between North Carolina Central and Alabama State, but career fair, concerts, Battle of the Bands, and so much more. What are you most excited about this year for the Orange Blossom Classic?
Denny's is so proud to continue our long-standing collaboration with the Orange Blossom Classic. It is actually a pillar in our annual calendar. I look forward to it. And yes, I'm almost on the way to Miami. And we're the title sponsor. This is our fourth year. And one of the things our goal is to make sure this event is a celebration of Black excellence at the highest level of education and sportsmanship and HBCU pride. So I'm very excited to once again, be a title sponsor, but also support education for all.
Got it. And my understanding is this is at least 4 years that Denny's has been the title sponsor. Why is this event and, promoting Black excellence, especially in higher education, important?
Well, you're correct. 4 years with the Orange Blossom Classic game, but we've been doing this over 30 years supporting HBCUs. And this is just one essential part of our Denny's community program. We have a $3.3 million multi-year initiative that is an extension of our commitment to the communities. And we make sure that we have scholarship opportunities as well as influential civil rights and nonprofit organizations in the country that has joined us.
Got it. That's exciting. Now let's go back to the beginning a little bit.
Yeah.
April, listen, Denny's is headquartered in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Is that correct?
That's correct. We actually have two support centers, one in Spartanburg, which is my hometown, and also Dallas is our second headquarters where we have our food department as well as our multicultural marketing department.
Got it. And I know Spartanburg well. That's where I started my reporting career. And I always remember, that Denny's was obviously actively involved in the community and whatnot. How did you begin your career? And tell us about your interest and journey into the diversity, equity, and inclusion space.
I'm glad you asked. I'm a hometown girl. We call it Sparkle City here in
Mm-hmm.
Spartanburg. We're actually the tallest building in the city, but we have a big heart of giving back to the community because at Denny's we say like we love to feed people body, mind, and soul. So I started actually in humble beginnings as an executive assistant at the corporate office. And I went 30 years ago, and I'm not telling my age, but 30 years ago, we started actually the first food service and hospitality company to start a diversity department. And back then it was called Diversity Affairs. And then over the years, we know it has expanded to diversity, equity, inclusion, as well as business diversity. And, in the past it was called supplier diversity. So I'm very proud to be a part of a company that has set the pace on diversity, equity, inclusion. And of course, it's a wonderful town. I'm a preacher's girl. So of course, I'm always involved in the community, and I just love that I had an opportunity just to give back and to do it with joy, and to it's a part of my ministry, I would say, of supporting my community.
So I learned something new that you mentioned about business diversity. That term used to be called supplier diversity. I was familiar with that. So tell me, why has the language changed corporately, and about the diverse businesses that you all work with?
I'm glad you asked me about that. In the past, supplier diversity was more about just making sure we had specific diverse businesses that, get opportunities to have, opportunity to be able to have spending, to be able to showcase their different entrepreneurship. But business diversity is something that's built into our strategy, that it is imperative for Denny specifically to have it woven into our everyday business. So, for example, we look at, let's say, our pancakes, for example, or our sausage. We look at diverse opportunities for entrepreneurs who purchase our sausage to be part of our Denny's brand. Not even that, we also look at our cups. I mean, everything that we touch as far as a business, we open the doors for women and minority owned businesses. So, business diversity is a term that a lot of us are embracing, which is truly important when it comes to being inclusive for all.
Got it. Well, listen, we are in a time when there are many corporations that are backtracking on being inclusive. Obviously, there are attacks in the private sector from education to corporations. Even, this week we've heard about some more major corporations that are backtracking on their commitments internally and externally to DEI initiatives. Tell me about why, Denny's is continuing to support DEI initiatives, and how are you all facing or dealing with the larger conversation around the attacks around DEI?
Well, as a neighboring gathering spot, Denny's is truly committed more than ever to ensure that each of our restaurants is a home for everyone, in the communities that we serve. So, while I cannot speak for others in the sector, Denny's recognizes the value of diversity and will remain focused on our mission. And like I said earlier, feeding bodies, minds, and soul. Bodies, of course, with our food, but minds with education, and souls for things that people care about. And this includes a commitment to creating, more of a diverse and equitable inclusive world for all. I mentioned earlier we have this huge community initiative that's been in a natural extension of our company for over 30 years, where we show a commitment across multiple focus areas. That's workforce diversity, education, scholarships. I mentioned earlier business diversity, and also franchise. Denny's is over 60% franchise owned. We have over 1,700 restaurants. And so, we're part of the community. Our diverse workforce, our even board of directors is over 56% of our board is women and people of color. So we've been doing this, like I said, for a long time. It is one of those things that's part of our fabric because I said we're a reflection of the community.
Got it. You mentioned, I know obviously people think about Denny's, they think about food, right? Breakfast, pancakes. I know you also serve lunch and dinner. Tell me about a scholarship program that you have that's actually pretty key and essential to the Orange Blossom Classic.
Yes, it's called Hunger for Education. Denny's has a wonderful, unique way of bringing childhood hunger and promoting education together. So, this Hunger for Education scholarship program started in 2011. And since then, we awarded about 2.5 million in combined scholarships to elementary, yes, high school, and college students across the country. And through this Hunger for Education program, we recognize students by awarding them with scholarships. But what's unique about it is that we ask all of these students to give us ideas on how Denny's can bring communities together. And years ago, it was one of these students that says, you know what, we should get involved in a football classic game where things that the communities are coming together and celebrating. And lo and behold, Orange Blossom Classic game is one that we started. So this is all about building strong communities as well as our commitment to developing young people, but they're our future. And so getting those ideas from them from our hunger for education and putting it to life is truly what it's all about. And the pillar of our community is, facing a lot of things, like you said earlier. And we want to make sure that we give back and that we hear them and that we see them.
Got it. This is interesting to hear scholarships that also benefit elementary and middle school students. Tell us how that works. How are students eligible? How do they apply and how do they receive the awards, the scholarship awards?
Yes, absolutely. We have over 14 organizations that partners with us. And we have this one organization called AAA. They're out of the state of Florida. And they have opportunities for students who are parents who want to send their child to a Montessori school or to a private school and does not have the financial means to do that. And so that organization partners with us to give money to people who are interested in taking their child to that next level as far as education. One of the easiest ways we make the high school, elementary, and college students to apply is just to go to Denny's.com. You click on the area where it says Hunger for Education. If you're a elementary or high school students, you just give us 500 words or less of what we can do to give back to the community. And then we have some of our organizations like the Tom Joyner Foundation, which is a longtime partner of ours that supports HBCUs. We ask those specific students who want to go to HBCUs to give us ideas as well, but also as a HBCU graduate or future graduate, how can we impact HBCUs? So we do a little bit more tailored towards the ones who are attending our HBCUs and also Hispanic serving institutions. So it's very easy for students to apply. They start in September. Applications are open and it ends in December, and we award in January. And then we have this wonderful celebration that we do it virtually to honor the students and all the recipients.
So, in classes in session, we often like to encourage college students in particular, to find their passion and their career pursuits. And so, what advice would you have to college students who may have an interest to pursue a corporate career like you have, either in food services, community engagement, or diversity, equity, inclusion? What should they major in? What type of internship should they look for someone who's interested to do what you do?
Well, one of the things I told recently one of my interns, because we have internship program at Denny's every summer, is that in diversity, equity, inclusion, we touch the entire business from marketing to finance to multicultural marketing opportunities. So you come in with a diverse background, anything you want to be able to study, you bring that to the table. That's important because, you know, one of the things I've learned when I first started at Denny's, and of course I come from a liberal arts school at the College of Charleston, we had to take different classes on marketing and accounting. But in diversity, equity, inclusion, you have to make sure that you're involved of everything and inclusive of all. So you have to be able to know about the business acumen, know how to know how to do a P&L, as well as knowing how to reach the community and have relationships with national organizations. So being diverse and what you want to do in your career is important, but also being active in the community too, because when you are a potential employer that you're trying to seek, you can say these are some of my activities that I've done to support the community and been involved in. So one of the things that we have done at Denny's, which is very unique, we give scholarships to future attorneys. We just recently gave $500,000 scholarship fund to the St. Thomas University of Benjamin L. Crump of law. And that was to encourage and foster the next generations of great legal minds. So, as I say, diverse background from your academic inspirations is important, but that's a perfect example of how Denny's has done things beyond the traditional business majors or finance majors.
Got it. That's really helpful advice. And April, I think your story is interesting that you said you began even as an executive administrator, executive assistant. How did you work your way into the DEI space? And really, what have you seen change the most in nearly 30 years in the DE&I corporate space?
When I first started, as I mentioned, it was not a name called Diversity Affairs, it was called Public Relations. And as an executive assistant in public relations department, we were involved in the community. We did different sponsorship events. And then it moved to the Diversity Affairs department, where we really targeted on workforce diversity as well as training. And from there, I had to learn everything about the company as an executive assistant. I moved up to a coordinator, to a director, and to where now I oversee diversity, equity, inclusion for the entire enterprise. Denny's is a corporate office that also owns Kiki's out of Florida. So I work for the Denny's Corporation that touches both the diverse Denny's enterprise as well as Kiki's. So very, very passionate about what I do within the brand, but also it's important that we make sure that everyone within our departments across the country owns it, right? We all have a ambassadorship of diversity, equity, inclusion, and we make sure that all of us as leaders are making sure it's woven into we do what we do for everyday life.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Now let's talk about the Orange Blossom Classic. I know it's such an exciting lineup. Here at Classes in Session, we had the opportunity to be joined last year by their executive director, Kendra Major Bullock. who really talked about the excitement around providing so many opportunities for HBCU students. We know that the football game is obviously a draw. It's a big deal. There's concerts, there's Battle of the Bands, but there's also a career symposium. And if I'm not mistaken, I know some of it focuses on careers in sports and entertainment. But are there also opportunities for HBCU students to learn about corporate careers, internships, DEI type of roles as well?
Yes, absolutely. Denny's has a whole team of people who come from, I call my activation team, that is there for workforce opportunities across the brand, locally in our restaurants as well as at the corporate level. So they're practitioners, they are recruiting on the spot. We also have opportunities for students who are there attending the game to sign up for our internship program and definitely our scholarship, because we are kicking off our scholarship in September for them to apply. So we make sure that we bring, and this is the last thing I forgot to mention, franchising opportunities. Yes, franchising, because HBCUs, especially classic games, bring in the alumni. So we're there at the table at our booth saying you want to become. If you have a student who's interested in scholarships, we're here. If you're interested in working at a Denny's from the corporate level to owning a restaurant, come talk to us. So we make sure we bring our entire portfolio to HBCU Classic game to say that we are interested in you being a part of our brand as well as giving back on that day.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. That's exciting. Sounds like a lot of wraparound services and opportunities for students to learn more. Listen, we know the big game is this Sunday in Miami Gardens. What else could folks expect from this year's Orange Blossom Classic?
Well, we're excited to showcase, if you're watching in person or on ESPN Live, we want to say at Denny's it is showtime. We just announced the return of our popular Denny's 2468 value menu. It's an opportunity for our guests who are going to the game or after the game can enjoy our diner classics. And it kind of helps you with the wallet friendly prices too, for especially when you're trying to watch your pocketbook or your wallet, as well as bringing your family to a game. We just partner with our wonderful organization, the Warner Brothers Pictures, and our upcoming Beetlejuice film. So there's a limited time menu. We're asking everyone to come in and enjoy, because it's important for us to not only give back, but also to, like as I said earlier, feed the body, mind, and soul.
Got it. Feeding the body, mind, and soul. So excited to hear that. April Kelly-Drummond, this has been exciting to hear about all the initiatives you're leading, and just about your consistent work in this space, and how we can also get other students who may have interest in a similar career path, interested in, just corporate operations as well as diversity, equity, and inclusion. So excited about this. So thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And to everybody tuning in, be sure to share this episode. Again, the 50th annual Orange Blossom Classic takes place this Sunday, September 1st, in Miami Gardens. North Carolina Central is matching up against Alabama State. You can also tune in, as April mentioned, on ESPN, so check your local listings for airtime as well. Be sure to share this episode with family and friends. Stay posted for the latest and greatest on Black Enterprise's social media channels. And also, we have a suite of other podcasts with excellent information for you to check out as well on our YouTube page. So this is Ashley Stevens for this episode of Class is in Session. Thank you all for tuning in, and class is dismissed.